Hey guys, welcome to another warm November day here in South Carolina. It's about 66 Fahrenheit, which is 19 Celsius. And we have not had a deep freeze since the freeze that kind of killed everything around me. We did finally have some rain. I actually looked the last 90 days in the garden. We've had about 8 days that it rained, and each time was about half an inch to an inch, but more in the half an inch or lower range. But the other day it did rain, and so it's a good time, as good a time as any, to put in some more seeds for fall. Because even though everything around me is looking pretty dead, except for maybe this section over here, there is plenty of stuff that I can grow. And when it comes to some of the stuff I'm planting today, even if I don't get a harvest out of it, it's still going to enrich my soil for the next spring planting. I've got my favorite planting tool here with me. It is, yes, actually just a Sharpie. And the reason that I like it is because it makes really nice little holes for things like peas and beans, and so I don't have to get my fingernails all caked in dirt to make little holes. This is going to be a little different as far as my tours go, just because we're kind of gonna go around and look at the spots where things need to be planted. The first spot I'm looking at is where all of my peppers, my sweet peppers and zinnias and eggplants were. I had a few things planted in here. You can see this is one of those dwarf peas that came up. I did only have 4 of these that actually survived coming up in between the other plants, so I'm going to kind of expand on the dwarf peas in this area, and also throw some fava beans in here for good measure, because both of these are going to be fixing nitrogen into the soil. This little baby spinach that has made it through many weeks now without dying, but also without getting much bigger, is finally putting on some new growth. I think it's gonna make it, guys, although it does have to get big enough before the next freeze, I think, to really support itself. There isn't a whole lot of logic to what I'm doing besides just like I need to fill in the empty space with something. I just did some peas. I'm gonna do some fava beans, and then I'm gonna come around and put in the lettuce starts that I have left that look the least sad, because as y'all have seen, most of them do look very sad at this point. The existing fava beans are doing really well. You can see this nice green growth on them. They are not flowering yet, but I wouldn't really expect them to be. And like I said, even if they don't actually end up making beans for me, having these plants here provides ground cover. It gives fresh roots for the mushrooms that actually interact with plant roots, and it is fixing nitrogen into the soil. I don't think this cauliflower is going to make it. I haven't torn it out yet because, well, I don't really have anything else competing for this space. This one next to it, that one might actually make it. The other day I came through and took this broccoli head, and you can see already the little side shoots are coming up, and these will definitely not be full heads, but they'll be little edibles for sure. And if I hadn't mentioned before, these leaves are also edible. They're a bit like kale. They are kind of tough, but you can eat them. My calendula is surprising me by not dying yet. Actually, it looks pretty good overall. I knew it was a little cold tolerant, but I didn't really realize it was frost tolerant. So this is a really nice plant to have for the fall garden. It is the season for henbit. This is one of the edible weeds that grows in my garden. It does taste a bit like grass, but it is a very pretty edible weed. I've got my larger dibber for the lettuce seedlings, and we are going to kind of spread those out along the garden. You can see how sad most of them look. These are all rutabaga starts that never really looked that good. These lettuce starts did look good for a bit. I think these purple ones, the merlots, have been doing the best as far as handling my neglect. But these ones that are still green, we'll put in the ground and we'll see if they actually take off at all. Speaking of lettuce, the ones that I actually planted on time before they became neglected little seedlings are doing really, really well. This one could use a little less shade from that, but yeah, these are doing great, and the size difference is incredible. You know, these are the same exact seedlings as those little tiny, like, malnourished ones. And these ones have had time to spread out their roots and gather nutrients and create relationships with the microorganisms in the soil. And so they're just going to be doing a whole lot better in the ground versus in those tiny little starter cells. Even my path lettuce is doing really well. Look at this guy. Oh, there's another one here. These self-seeded, and they are kind of crowded in with all the weeds. But these are still just as edible as those ones, and I'm going to let them kind of do their thing here, do their part crowding out some of these weeds. Something else I still haven't done that I need to do is come through and pick all these blue butterfly pea pods and germination test the seeds inside and see if I actually got mature seeds before the frost, because these guys are definitely dead. We are getting closer to Brussels sprout season. You can see these little sprouts getting bigger and bigger on these plants, and the plants are looking so healthy, especially compared to all of that. These look amazing. Brussels sprouts are one of my favorites, so I'm really excited to actually have an abundance of them this year. Checking in on the carrots over here. I've been pulling one every so often just to kind of see how they're doing. And they are, as of like a few days ago, they are kind of getting there. Let's see, let's find a good one to check. Oh. We've got this entire empty space here in the middle, and a bunch of small ones. Oh, that one is pretty big. Let's see how that looks. Do you guys ever pull up a carrot like this where it's like huge on the top and then really short and feel like it just lied to you? That is a really nice carrot though. That's probably actually an Auxhart carrot looking at the shape. I bet in like 2 or 3 weeks these will be quite large. So I'll keep checking on them, and this is 100% still edible as it is. Just gotta brush off some of the dirt. Let's see how it is. Okay. Not the sweetest carrot I've ever had, but it has been kind of warm out here, you know? Still a really good carrot. And I absolutely love that I can just like yank it out of the ground and eat it as is, because I haven't sprayed anything on these vegetables whatsoever. This is definitely a look inside how my brain actually works. Every garden tour you see is normally so structured because I need that structure to continue giving you guys like a structured overview of how things are going in the garden. A lot of days I come out here and it is kind of like this. It's like, oh, I need to do that, let's do that. Oh yeah, but I need to do that, let's do that. And then I need to go check on the carrots, let's do that. And I'm showing this to you guys, again, like I do all of my garden content, just to give you guys a realistic idea of what is going on in my garden, and not the picture perfect, only the highlights view of the garden, because I want you to be encouraged that whatever you're doing in your garden is good enough, even great, and you can get good results even if you're not super organized. I hope you guys have a good day, and until next time, I wish you happy gardening.